In a small village nestled amidst a misty valley lived a little girl named Taidy. She had a cozy little wooden house, a vegetable garden, and a clear river where she loved to play with her friends. But deep down, she felt like it was never enough. "Why is our house so small?" "My dear, a small house with a big heart can be just as warm." "But I want a big house like Mrs. Lena's." The next day, Taidy sat by the river, playing with the paper doll her mother had folded for her. She looked at it irritably because it had no sound, no light, no magic at all. "This doll can't even talk." "I made it myself, dear. It may not talk, but if you smile, it's like it's smiling too." "No, I want a talking doll like that merchant's son." That night, her mother spoke to her in a soft voice. In the wooden room illuminated by flickering candlelight, their shadows hung on the walls. Her mother reached out and gently touched her daughter's shoulder, saying, "My dear, those who see only what they lack will never see happiness." "Taidy, I don't understand, Mom." She walked away, tears welling up, the moonlight reflecting softly on her cheeks. She walked out into the cold night air. Unbeknownst to her, her dissatisfaction was slowly pulling her further away from happiness. That night, the entire village was silent. Only the sound of the wind rustling through the windows and the soft chirping of insects could be heard. Taidy closed her eyes, but her heart was restless, as if something was calling her in the breeze. Taidy murmurs, "What was that sound? Like someone speaking softly." Wind blows, curtains rustle. The voice of an old woman, faint in her dream. "You will know true happiness when you see your own reflection in the mirror of contentment." In her dream, the forest surrounding her was shrouded in white mist and the light of fireflies. Standing before her was an old woman with white hair, dressed in a black robe, holding an ancient mirror. She gazed at Taidy with a mysterious look before speaking in a hoarse voice. "Old woman, you are lost in the shadows of desire. Find this mirror completely, and you will find the answer to your heart." "Taidy, the mirror of contentment?" "Yes, child. Happiness is not something found externally, but something you cannot see within yourself." As sunlight streamed through the window, Taidy opened her eyes and gasped at the sight of something unfamiliar beside her pillow. A small shard of glass, cold and gleaming like ice in winter. She picked it up, her heart pounding. Something inside her told her this was the beginning of a new journey. Is it really here? She gazed out at the forest, where sunlight filtered through the trees. If this glass can lead me to happiness, I will find it. And that was the morning Taidy began her adventure, a journey to discover the true meaning of sufficiency. Along the way, Taidy entered a bustling city that shimmered as if the sun were reflecting gold. The streets were paved with gold, the dazzling light almost blinding. People were dressed in elegant attire. Every house had a gold roof, and every door was adorned with diamonds. But one thing was missing. Taidy, "Wow, this city is so beautiful. Everything looks so luxurious." An old man in golden robes, "Yes, but no one is truly happy, little one." Taidy, "Why not? Everyone has so much gold." The old man, "Too much gold turns the heart to stone." She walked into a pastry shop adorned with glittering gold. A young woman inside the shop
was muttering softly as she arranged golden candies on shelves. Gold doesn't taste as good as the old-fashioned sweets. Then why do you still make gold-colored sweets? Because people here don't want to see anything ordinary anymore. She left the shop, looking around the city. People were constantly comparing themselves to each other. Who had more gold? Who was more dazzling? And every face she saw resembled her in the old days, a day when she herself was never satisfied with what she had.
As night fell, the golden city shone even more brightly. But the brighter it was, the emptier her heart felt. Beneath the golden statue in the center of the city, she saw something reflecting the bright light. She slowly bent down and found a small shard of glass lying there. In the shadow, she saw herself, a little girl crying amidst all the gold, yet so unhappy. Taidy, softly, "The gold is beautiful, but why do I feel so cold inside?" She picked up the shard of glass, tears falling to the ground. "Taidy, perhaps happiness isn't the most dazzling thing." The piece of glass gleamed softly, like a heart beginning to understand. And in the golden light of the night, Taidy stepped out of the city, with a promise to herself that she would find the meaning of sufficiency. From the golden city, Taidy continued into the deep, misty forest. A gentle breeze rustled, but instead of the sound of rustling leaves, she heard whispers all around her, the voices of the trees speaking. "Oak, I wish I were as tall as the pine. Pine, but I wish I could embrace the wind like the bamboo. Bamboo, if I were a rose, perhaps people would admire me." Their voices resonated in Taidy's heart. Each voice was filled with envy and dissatisfaction with their own. The entire forest became an endless whisper of suffering. Taidy sat down under a large oak tree, trying to cover her ears, but the sounds of the forest still echoed in her mind. "Taidy, don't you see that every tree has its own unique beauty? Oak tree, our beauty is worthless when there are others that look better. Pine tree, no one wants to be us." Those words were like sharp thorns piercing her heart. Tears streamed down her cheeks because she herself had once thought that way. She had always wanted to be like others, never valuing herself. Suddenly, a warm light streamed down from the skylight, filtering through the leaves and striking the ground beneath the roots. Something reflected the light softly, the third piece of glass. She slowly reached out to take it. In the glass, she was reflected, along with the surrounding trees, which had fallen silent. Everything was quiet, as if the entire forest was listening to her heart. Taidy, voice trembling, "If everyone doesn't want to be themselves, then who would want to live in a world like this?" Suddenly the leaves twinkled like the forest's smile. The whispers of envy slowly faded. Only the gentle breeze remained, and a small heart beginning to understand the meaning of self-acceptance. She continued her journey until she reached the silent gray sea. The water's surface was perfectly still, like a mirror reflecting the gloomy sky. There were no waves, no sound, only a slow, cool breeze. In the middle of the sea lay a small island, emitting a soft light like a dream. Taidy, is this the end of this journey? A mysterious voice from the wind. It's not the end, but where you will see your own heart. So she stepped onto a small wooden boat moored by the shore. She drifted out to the silent island in the sea. The whole world seemed to stop breathing. As her small feet touched the white sand, a woman in white appeared. She was so beautiful, elegant, and gentle that Taidy could barely breathe. The woman, "I am what you desire. I am the perfection in your heart." Taidy, "Perfection? Does that mean I'll get everything I want?" The woman, "If you desire it, I will give you everything you want, a grand house, gold, admiration." The woman's words floated in the air like a song, but in her eyes there was something cold, a lifeless emptiness. Taidy glanced at the shard of glass she held. In the shadow, she saw a woman in white, and herself superimposed in the same image. "And happiness? Can you give it?" The woman, smiling faintly, "Happiness? It's something no one can give, not even me." As she finished speaking, the woman's form slowly dissolved into the mist, leaving only a faint light and the fourth shard of glass resting on Tidy's palm. She looked at it and whispered to herself, "Perhaps true happiness doesn't come from having everything, but from not wanting everything." The soft light from the sky reflected on the water's surface. The gray sea began to turn a light blue, like her heart beginning to come back to life. Taidy arrives in a city where every wall is made of glass. The streets reflect the sky, the buildings reflect the people. Everywhere you look, there are only shadows and comparisons. Taidy, why does everyone look at the mirror all the time? A woman, dressed elegantly, because we have to make sure our shadows are perfect. Another man, voice trembling, but I'm never satisfied. My shadow looks sadder than I imagined. She walks past many people. Some laugh at their own shadows, some cry, and some dare not make eye contact with their shadows. At the end of the street, she found the largest mirror. When she looked into it, the image wasn't just a reflection of today, but it was the reflection of yesterday. She saw herself. A little girl was crying because her doll was broken. A child complained because she didn't get candy. A child ignoring her mother's gentle gaze. Taidy, is that really me? The reflection in the mirror, answering softly, "Yes, you never looked at me." Each moment was like a wound in her heart being reopened, but this time she didn't run away. She simply stood and watched with a gentler heart. Taidy's tears fell onto the glass floor. A soft ting sound was heard, and suddenly all the shards of glass she had collected along the way began to glow and float up into the sky. They combined to form the perfect Mirror of Sufficiency. Taidy, smiling through tears, "I'm sorry, I never really saw you." The reflection in the mirror, warm, "Now you see me." Her reflection smiled back, a smile that wasn't the most beautiful, but the genuinest smile of her life. The light from the mirror illuminated the city. People who had only looked at their reflections began to look at each other, and the city of mirrors began to come alive once again. In the Mirror of Sufficiency, Taidy saw a familiar image: her small wooden house, her mother's gentle smile as she wove flowers, the laughter of her friends, and the clear river flowing in front of the house. She stood gazing for a long time, as if her heart had stopped for a moment. Taidy, softly, "This is my home." The voice of an old woman from the mirror, "Yes, where happiness always awaited you." She slowly reached out and touched the mirror. The warm light from the image within gently passed through her fingertips, like a loving touch from a mother. In the reflection, she saw a younger version of herself, the little girl who used to cry because her doll broke. the child who complained because she didn't get candy, and the child who used to ignore loving gazes. But this time, she smiled at the image instead of crying. "I'm sorry, I was looking for happiness too far away." A voice in the mirror, warm. "You know now that what you were looking for never really went away." A tear rolled down her face, but this time it wasn't a tear of sorrow, it was a tear of forgiveness. Suddenly, the mirror began to tremble. A soft cracking sound was heard, accompanied by a radiant light. The shards of glass shattered into sparkling golden light. They floated up into the sky and slowly faded into the air. The old woman's voice in the dream echoed again, warm, clear, and profound. Old woman echo. "He who is not content with what he has, dissatisfied with what he possesses, is the most unfortunate person in the world." Taidy closed her eyes, a faint smile on her face. Her heart was calm, like a river in the morning, with only the sunlight reflecting. Happiness had returned to her, this time in a contented heart. One morning, Taidy returned to her village. The warm morning breeze filled the air. The rooster crowed, the stream flowed. Everything seemed the same, but she felt that everything was more beautiful than before. Taidy smiles. Here, everything is still the same. A voice in her heart, softly. "Yes, but your heart is no longer the same." Seeing her mother standing in front of the house, her face still beaming with the same gentle smile, Taidy ran and hugged her tightly, as if afraid that time would take that moment away. Taidy, voice trembling, "Mom, I'm so happy that I have this house, that I have you, that I have everything I used to overlook." Mother, gently stroking her daughter's head, "My child, happiness never disappears. It's just waiting for our hearts to see it." Those words seeped into Taidy's heart like sunlight melting the morning mist. From that day on, Taidy didn't become a princess, nor did she possess any magical objects, but she had something far more precious, a heart that knew contentment. She still played with her friends by the stream and laughed with her mother every evening, but in every laugh she heard the sound of true happiness. Taidy laughs softly. "I don't need anything more. This is enough." The afternoon breeze blew, the flowers swayed, and the sunlight shone on the water, sparkling. It was as if the sky itself smiled upon the little girl who had learned to be content with what she had.